You're watching a Highwire Media podcast. Welcome to the Big D Breakdown, the ultimate podcast for Dallas Cowboy fans. If you live and breathe America's team, you're in the right place. I'm your host, Larry Lease, and each week we break down everything you need to know about the Cowboys, from game recaps and in-depth analysis to player updates, coaching strategies, and all that drama that comes with being a fan of the most talked about team in the NFL. Whether you're celebrating a big win, dissecting a tough loss, or just looking for the latest buzz surrounding the boys, we've got you covered. Settle in and let's dive into all things Dallas Cowboys. This is the Big D Breakdown, where passion meets the gridiron. So our first topic, we're going to take a look at 4 Cowboys whose stock is rising after the Thanksgiving win. DeMarvion Overshown isn't the only Cowboy who shined on Thanksgiving. The Dallas Cowboys finally got on a winning streak, taking down the New York Giants 27-20 on Thanksgiving. After a thrilling win in Washington just a few days ago, most wondered if Dallas could put 2 solid games together. They did just that while securing their first home win of the season. The defense looks like it is finally starting to gel under Mike Zimmer despite the numerous injuries. They once again won the turnover battle 2-0. DeMarvion Overshown was a big part of their strong performance, but other teammates are seeing their stock rise after back-to-back divisional wins. Like Chauncey Golston's early interception last week, the defense got a huge spark early. With the Cowboys down 7-6 and the offense once again struggling to find their footing, Overshown produced one of the best defensive plays the NFL may see all year. With Drew Lock looking to find his running back on a screen pass, Overshown tipped the ball into the air, stayed with it, picked it off, and ran all the way back for a touchdown. It was the first defensive touchdown of the year for the Cowboys. Once Dallas took the lead there, never looked back. The play is a culmination of how well Overshown has been playing this year. On top of a struggling defense, he also recovered a fumble on the Giants' opening drive of the second half, after which Dallas scored to go up by 10. After missing his rookie season with a torn ACL, the former Texas Longhorn has become arguably one of the biggest key pieces on this defense. He ranks second on the team in tackles and has been flying around on every play, to say the least. Cowboys have a lot to address in the offseason when it comes to this team, especially on defense. Fortunately, Overshown has looked like a future Pro Bowler the whole season, someone to build this linebacking core around. Micah Parsons might have been named the John Madden Thanksgiving MVP. Overshown deserved it just as much, having been the man behind both turnovers the defense forced. His stock is at a career high after his performance on Thanksgiving. So number 3, Mazi Smith. Mazi Smith quietly had one of his best games as a pro. Coincidentally, he had a strong showing against these same Giants early in the season. According to All-22, Smith graded out as one of the best Cowboy defenders on the field Thanksgiving Day. Statistically, he finished the game with half a sack and a quarterback hit. While the stats are not super daunting, what gets lost is how well Smith helped the defense defend the run. Yes, the Giants had 116 rushing yards, but most came from Drew Lock running as the only option. The Giants' leading back was Tyrone Tracy Jr., who only had 32 yards. Smith's performance is encouraging coming off a solid outing he and the defense had against Washington's running game. Players have started to say they are finally understanding Zimmer's defense. Based on the past 2 games, Smith looks like someone who was lost early in the year, but has started to figure things out. For a former first-round pick, a lot of people are already labeling him as a bust, but his performance on Thanksgiving was encouraging. His stock is slowly rising, going to the team's mini bye week. And then number 2, Brandon Cooks. One of the reasons some are already believing this team can get hot at the end of the year is injured players are finally starting to come back. The team got Gerard Bland back last week, who looks like he is picking up where he left off in 2023. And then they recently got Brandon Cooks back. Outside of CeeDee Lamb, Cooks is one of the team's best weapons at receiver. His return against the Giants immediately brought new life to the passing game. Cooks had been injured since the first Giants game with an infection that required surgery. Without him, Dallas had virtually no other receiver who could take attention away from Lamb. The trade for Jonathan Mingo has not produced any results so far, still leaving Cooks second best option. Cooks only caught 3 passes, but all of them were critical. He caught his first pass since being injured late in the second quarter that gave his team a first down. But the drive ended in a punt. His welcome back moment arrived after Overshawn recovered the fumble on New York's third quarter opening drive. The play might not have happened had Cooper Rush's fumble near the goal line stood. Shockingly, after the play was reviewed, the officials ruled his knee was down before the ball came out. Rush took advantage and found Cooks in the left corner of the end zone for the offense's first score of the day. The touchdown gave Dallas a double-digit lead at 20-10 and gave them a sense of comfort similar to last week in Washington. While the touchdown did not seal the win, it was a score that the offense needed to try to pull away from a reeling Giants team. That was not the end of Cooks' big day. With the team leading 27-20, late after New York crept back into the late, Mike McCarthy gambled on third down when he decided to throw the ball instead of running it to keep the clock moving. The gamble paid off when Rush found Cooks on an out route and he made a diving catch right at the marker to take the first down. Had that pass not been caught, the Giants would have had time to drive downfield after Dallas punted to them. 3 catches for 16 yards and a touchdown might not be a standout stat line, but Cooks deserves credit for making 2 key plays in the game. Needless to say, he looks fully recovered from his injury and capable of producing more big plays for this offense. His stock is rising after only 1 game back. And finally, number 1, Rico Dowdle. Rico did something on Thanksgiving that no other Cowboys running back has done all season or since last season. Rico became the first Dallas running back to rush for over 100 yards in a game this season. Since week 3 of the last season when Tony Pollard eclipsed that mark, it only took 13 weeks, but Dallas's running game finally looked legitimate on Thanksgiving. After racking up 86 yards in Washington last week, Rico's stock was already on the rise. He took it to another level against the Giants. He finished with 112 yards on 22 carries and a touchdown in the third quarter. Those numbers scream a full-time starter at running back. After flip-flopping between Dowdle, Elliott, and even bringing in Dalvin Cook, the Cowboys look like they have found their starter at running back for the rest of the season. Rico found holes all game behind an offensive line that was healthier but still missing 2 of its starters. Eventually, that number became 3 when Tyler Guyton came out due to a high ankle sprain, leaving Chuma Edoga to play the rest of the game. They're spending the whole season on injured reserve. Despite the injuries on the offensive line, Rico had his best game as a pro. The Cowboys need to see if Rico is cut out to be a complimentary back if the team does in fact add a new one this offseason through the draft or free agency. While most would say this team still needs to look at adding a new running back this offseason, Rico looks like he would be a contributor if they re-signed him after becoming the team's first 100-yard rusher of 2024, but his stock is definitely continuing to be on the rise. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Is there anybody that we should have included or somebody that you would have taken off this list? Let me know. The Dallas Cowboys Thanksgiving matchup against the New York Giants did not promise to provide offensive fireworks. While Rico Dowdle had a couple of explosive runs, most of the fun came courtesy of the defense. Specifically, pick 6 by DeMarvion Overshawn. Overshawn deflected a Drew Lock pass before plucking it out of the air and making a beeline for the end zone. Mike McCarthy's offense showed signs of life early, but it took until late in the second quarter for it to become unwatchable. Rico inexplicably wasn't heard from to close out the first half. Rush took several deep shots downfield that had 0 chance of finding a receiver. Anxious for points or something resembling an NFL offense, the AT&T Stadium showered McCarthy with boos after he cowardly called an inside handoff to Hunter Luepke on 3rd and 14. The Cowboys were leading at the time, but the boos were absolutely justified. Boos raining down from AT&T Stadium this season is nothing new. In every previous instance, though, the Cowboys were getting steamrolled at their home stadium. That fans felt compelled to boo the team while holding a lead speaks volumes, literally and figuratively. Again, The Boo Birds were absolutely called for, and they probably should have happened again after McCarthy punted on 4th and 10 from Dallas's 49-yard line. Why not send out Brandon Aubrey for a 68-yard field goal? It was wiped out due to a penalty, but he made a 67-yarder in the first game of the season. Aubrey was apparently waiting on the sideline with his helmet, according to Nick Harris of the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, as he was ready for Mike McCarthy to call his number. We do understand the appeal behind pinning the Giants' anemic offense deep. In a vacuum, it doesn't make much sense to give a struggling offense a short field, while Mike Zimmer's defense is buzzing and stacking 3-and-outs. However, Kevin Burkhardt put it best on the broadcast when he said Aubrey can make kicks from Mars. Most kickers in the league aren't a threat from 60 yards. Aubrey seemingly has the range to connect from 70. What is the point in having an alien at the position if you don't use them? For McCarthy's sake, the offense needs a better showing the second half, or Cowboy fans will have no trouble cheering the team. Let me know your thoughts on this topic in the comments section below. And with that, we're going to take another look, more specifically, at the injuries that overshadowed the Cowboys' dominant Thanksgiving win against the Giants. It's great to win, especially at home, but these injuries definitely hurt. If you weren't rooting for a Dallas Cowboys win on Thanksgiving, well, we apologize on the team's behalf for how much they've broken you. While the dream of landing a high draft pick is slipping away, it was great to watch the Cowboys beat the Giants with the entire country watching. Like we said previously, Marvin Overshawn had arguably the play of the season when he tipped a Drew Lock pass to himself and ran it right back for a touchdown. Micah Parsons added 2 sacks and combined with Carl Lawson for 8 quarterback hits. On the other side of the ball, Rico scored his first rushing touchdown of the season, and Kevontae Turpin led the team in receiving on an afternoon CeeDee Lamb struggled with drops. It was far from perfect, but a 2-score win is a 2-score win. Unfortunately, though, we are hard-pressed to celebrate after the heartbreaking injuries to feel-good stories. Apologies for butchering his name. De'Anthony Thomas and Josh Butler. Thomas went down in the first half with a potential serious knee injury. It was a non-contact injury while defending a Giants kickoff return. The Fox broadcast showed a devastated Thomas launch his helmet, punch the turf, and clutch his knee. It was a gut-wrenching sequence of a player processing a bevy of emotions. Thomas was consoled by teammates and coaches before getting carted off and was quickly ruled out. Those are generally the telltale signs of a serious injury, but it didn't take long for the Cowboys to experience another nightmare. Ascending cornerback Josh Butler, too, suffered a non-contact knee injury while defending a deep ball. Butler couldn't even make a play on the ball because his knee gave out after he planted to change direction. Thomas and Butler are 2 of the feel-good stories on the Cowboys. Both players had arduous journeys to the NFL and scratched and clawed to make the roster. While neither is an established starter, they are important role players. In his 3rd season with the team, Thomas has made a strong case to be the starting safety next season. His role has increased each year, and he finally got some national recognition after he returned an onside kick for a touchdown previously against the Commanders. Butler, meanwhile, was out of football for 5 seasons before joining the Michigan Panthers of the USFL. He received a training camp invite from Dallas this summer and was cut multiple times before joining the practice squad. Butler made his first start in Week 12 and led the team with 13 tackles and 3 passes defended. He was only signed to the active roster due to other injuries, but he was trending towards earning playing time when the secondary returned to full strength. While we don't know the full extent of Thomas and Butler's injuries, we get the sense the team is preparing for the worst. Both cases are absolutely heartbreaking. There's no other way to phrase it. An unheralded Cowboy star made Jerry Jones eat crow on a special Thanksgiving Cowboys game. Of course, Cowboy fans will never forgive Jerry Jones for this. The Dallas Cowboys won at home for the first time all season. They did it against the Giants with the entire country watching on Thanksgiving. And yet, seemingly, half the fan base pouted that Dallas harmed its draft position by winning the game. No victory is worth apologizing for. Finding ways to win divisional games without your star quarterback is not a bad thing. Reason to celebrate has been scarce this season. A shining light through and through has been running back Rico. It wasn't even a month ago that the Cowboys finally conceded that Rico was the best running back on the roster and decided to make him their workhorse. Taking nearly 10 games and a full summer's worth of evidence for that to register is an indictment on the organization. While Mike McCarthy has an affinity for Ezekiel Elliott, we like to think he recognized pretty early that Rico deserved to have the backfield all to himself. That leaves Jerry Jones, the franchise's foremost string puller, as the mastermind behind Rico's baffling usage for the first 2+ months of the campaign. Rico was once again the engine of Dallas's offense. Like we said, he rushed for 122 yards and a touchdown on 5.1 yards per carry. He bounced off tacklers at will and ripped multiple explosive runs to take pressure off the team's struggling passing game. Rico has become the first Cowboy to rush for 100 yards in 26 games. He forced 10 missed tackles, and that is the most by a Cowboy since Ezekiel Elliott, Week 16 of the 2020 season. These numbers are not a mirage. Cowboy fans have shouted from the rooftop for months that Rico is capable of this. He's a legitimate starting running back, when healthy and given the opportunity. While new information, it is not surprising whatsoever. Imagine from day one if Dallas had committed to Rico as their starter running back. It is franchise malpractice. It took 9 games for that decision to come. It is also a miracle that Rico kept his head down while the front office insisted that Ezekiel Elliott, Dalvin Cook, could provide a spark. Rico even went 3 possessions on Thursday without a carry. And that's complete negligence on Mike McCarthy's part, but this has been a Jerry Jones playing favorites issue. The solution at running back was staring him in the face the entire time. Excuse me. And next, Micah Parsons dropped a huge nugget on injured Cowboys star after the Thanksgiving win. Parsons gave Cowboy fans another reason to celebrate the Thanksgiving win. Don't look now, but Dallas Cowboys are on a winning streak after they defeated the New York Giants on Thanksgiving. It is the first winning streak in over 2 months, and it has Micah Parsons in playoffs. Parsons told Fox reporter Aaron Andrews, quote, "I believe we're going to turn it around and make a run. I'm telling y'all right now, we coming." Parsons caught serious backlash when he proclaimed on the Edge podcast the Cowboys are a good team. They were mired in a 5-game losing streak at the time and had just got blown out at home by the Texans on Monday Night Football. Since then, Parsons has taken his already elite game to another level. He's backing up his talk, which is really all you can ask for, and the team has followed his lead. A big reason Parsons believes Dallas can make a run is that they are starting to get healthy. While they suffered some heartbreaking injuries on Thanksgiving, Parsons made a surprising revelation about an injured Cowboy who's been out of the lineup for a while. According to Parsons, the Cowboys may get DeMarcus Lawrence back for their Week 14 game against the Bengals. That will be played on Monday Night Football, so Lawrence will have an extra day, 11 in total, to get cleared for prime time. Cowboy fans shouldn't go expecting Lawrence to be in the lineup on Monday. However, Parsons' message seems to hint Lawrence isn't far away from returning. The defense has turned in back-to-back excellent games, but their impressive play dates back a month. While the wheels eventually came off against the Eagles and Texans, Mike Zimmer's game plan worked in the first half of those losses. The defense is seemingly finding itself. It's no surprise that coincided with Parsons' return to the lineup. While Lawrence won't have a Parsons-like impact, his return will be a major boost. He didn't post crazy numbers before his injury, but his impact goes beyond the box score. The 4-time Pro Bowler is the best at his position, defending the run, and has a knack for showing up in big moments. There is something to be said about Dallas's defense performing well against the Giants and Commanders of the world, but the Bengals are a whole different animal. Joe Burrow is playing at an MVP level despite Cincinnati's losing record, and Jamar Chase currently leads the NFL in receiving yards and touchdowns. T. Higgins is also one of the best receivers in the game. Getting D-Law back for Monday Night Football would be massive, and a pleasant surprise given there hasn't been many updates on his status while he's been on injured reserve. Let me know your thoughts on the possibility of Marcus Lawrence coming back, and do you think his return will actually help the Cowboys get to the playoffs, or do you think the Cowboys are just continuing to play as they are? Micah Parsons just made Marvion Overshown a promise the Cowboys can't turn down. Gary Jones needs to listen to Micah. Like we mentioned, the Cowboys just beat the Giants 27-20 on Thanksgiving for their second win in a row. While landing a high draft pick might be a pipe dream, the show-stopping performance from DeMarvion Overshown is reason enough to be satisfied with the win. Overshown has been a shining light in an otherwise dismal season. He announced himself as a potential Pro Bowler, dare we say All-Pro, on the national holiday. He finished with 9 tackles, a sack, and a fumble, but it was his pick six that sent shockwaves around the country. Overshown battled a Drew Lock screen pass up in the air underneath it and scurried to the end zone for Dallas's first touchdown of the game. It's a contender for play of the season in the NFL. Lost in the sequence was Overshown lighting up the Giants running back, Devin Singletary. It was the perfect defensive play. Overshown's showing had Micah Parsons amped, and it prompted Parsons to send a message to Jerry Jones about Agent Zero. The entirety of Cowboys Nation thanks you, Micah. Overshown was Agent Zero at Texas, and he has wanted since he was drafted last year to change his Cowboys number to 0. The 2023 third-round pick would be the first Cowboys to don the number. It would be a special honor, but hasn't Overshown earned his stripes? The former Longhorn might make a Pro Bowl in his first full season. With all due respect to Trayvon Diggs and Daron Bland, Overshown is the building block of the defense next to Parsons. He has superstar talent, and there is seemingly nothing stopping him from reaching his potential. Rather than give number 0 to one of the Cowboys' best players, Jones has the jersey on lockdown. It belongs to Rowdy, the team mascot. We know anything about Parsons, he probably already made the call. Jones is as bad at negotiating jersey numbers as he is making trades. Then this should be an easy victory. On the other hand, though, Jones is the most stubborn individual in the NFL. When everyone is shouting from the hilltop for him to do something, he only digs his heels in deeper. Hell, he wouldn't even listen to CeeDee Lamb about putting up curtains at AT&T Stadium to block out the sun glare. I mean, seriously, how hard is it to put in freaking curtains? The problem with Overshown wanting number 0 is that it would require Jones to break a long-standing tradition. Overshown isn't going to make a big deal if Rowdy keeps number 0, but for an owner who believes in having a strong relationship with his players, this should be an easy decision. Cowboys' Dak Prescott has kind of quietly admitted that Jerry Jones screwed Mike McCarthy. If nothing else, the Dallas Cowboys have made the last 5 games of the year interesting. Then there's something to be said for that, given they were 3-8 not too long ago. While the playoffs remain a pipe dream, there is suddenly discourse about McCarthy potentially saving his job. Jones stirred the pot last week on 105.3 The Fan when he said crazier things have happened than giving McCarthy an extension. That came after Cowboys legend Troy Aikman gave McCarthy a loud endorsement while calling Monday Night Football for ESPN. Another legendary quarterback, Tom Brady, followed Aikman's lead on Thanksgiving, calling McCarthy a great coach and leader of men. While Jones might not care much for Brady's input, he absolutely cares what Aikman thinks. Well, what about his current quarterback, Dak Prescott? Prescott has defended McCarthy throughout the Dallas tenure. He echoed that to Jory Epstein of Yahoo Sports on Tuesday stated he wants McCarthy back. Well, what caught everyone's attention, though, was how the always measured Prescott concluded that statement, saying, quote, "I believe in him wholeheartedly. I don't want to necessarily get into the nuts and the screws of it all, obviously, but I think he definitely deserves a chance, another contract, and a chance to coach this team amongst more influence. On his terms, maybe a good way to say it." Cowboy fans know how calculated and cautious Prescott is when he speaks. Regardless of the subject matter, Dak knows whatever he says will generate headlines. That he said McCarthy deserves another year with the Cowboys on his terms is very noteworthy. There could be two meanings behind that. Either Prescott understands that Dallas's injuries put McCarthy in an impossible position, or the front office intentionally sabotaged the 2024 season to get its salary cap ducks in a row. Can't be argued that injuries derailed Dallas's season. Beyond losing Prescott for the year, the team played without Daron Bland for 10 games, Parsons for 4 games, D-Law for 6 games, 6 games plus, Zach Martin and Trayvon Diggs for 2 games, and Brandon Cooks for 5 games. Not many teams would overcome losing that much high-end talent, and the Cowboys were not equipped to do so. Not even close. And that brings us to the front office, which ranked dead last with $20.13 million spent in the offseason. The Titans ranked first with $323.84 million. And the Saints ranked 31st with $30.9 million. And Dallas came in last all by themselves. Even if the Cowboys managed to stay relatively healthy, they were not winning 12 games again. The front office didn't do enough to improve at running back, nose tackle, or receiver, and started 2 new faces, both rookies on the offensive line. This isn't all to say that McCarthy has covered himself in glory as a head coach, but it has been apparent for a while that Jerry Jones viewed 2024 as a reset or soft rebuild before potentially going his version of all-in in 2025. With all the hurdles McCarthy has had to climb in 2024, most courtesy of his own front office, Prescott isn't crazy to think he deserves another year. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below on the topics we covered. And also, do you think we should allow Prescott to return? Let me know. And of course, don't forget to give us a thumbs up if you like our video. Hit that subscribe button down below. And of course, subscribe to the podcast on all major podcast platforms, no matter where you get it, whether it's Good Pods, Spotify, YouTube, Music, iTunes. And of course, before we go, I'd like to thank our sponsor, Game Time. All right, Cowboys Nation, listen up. Are you ready to take your love for America's team to the next level? Let me tell you about Game Time, the ultimate ticketing app that's changing the game for diehard Dallas Cowboy fans like you and me. Here's the deal. We all know the feeling. The clock's ticking down and you still haven't locked in your tickets to the big game at AT&T Stadium. Whether it's the season opener or that pivotal December showdown, you don't want to miss Dak Prescott slinging passes, CeeDee Lamb making insane catches, or Micah Parsons dominating the line. And that's where Game Time comes in. Game Time makes it ridiculously easy to snag last-minute tickets at the best prices. This app is designed for fans who crave the thrill of spontaneity. You can scroll through their app and literally see the view from your seat before you buy. Yep, no more surprises when you get to the stadium. It's as if Jerry Jones himself gave you a sneak peek. And here's the kicker. Game Time offers up to 60% off tickets compared to other platforms. How? Because they specialize in those last-minute deals that other sites can't touch. Whether you're flying solo or bringing the whole squad to Arlington, you'll save big without sacrificing your game day experience. Now, Cowboys fans don't have to wait until it's 4th and goal. Download the Game Time app today using the link in the description and head on over to AT&T Stadium. Think about it, a seamless, stress-free ticket experience, killer deals, and being there to witness Cowboys history in the making. Don't just watch the game, feel the energy, the passion, the thunder of Cowboys Nation with Game Time. So what are you waiting for? Download Game Time today with a link in the description, Let's make Cowboys game day unforgettable. Game time. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. With that, we'd like to thank you so much for watching and listening. You know, there's plenty of places you can get your Dallas Cowboy news. So, of course, thank you for choosing us. And we will see you next time.